Hari Om, Jai Shri Radhe Krishna, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2. In this chapter, entitled Sankhya Yoga or Yoga of Analytical Knowledge, we get an exhaustive summary, the whole philosophical content of the Gita. Here, Arjuna accepts the position as a disciple of Lord Shri Krishna as he completely surrenders to Lord and requests the Lord to instruct him how to dispel his lamentation and grief. This second chapter is an extremely important chapter and is often deemed as a summary to the entire Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna sees his near and dear ones, teachers and friends on the opposing side of the battlefield, ready to sacrifice their lives in the war. He became overwhelmed with grief and compassion, loses his strength, and his mind becomes bewildered. Thus, he abandons his resolve to fight. It may be noted from Arjuna's long statement that the following real issues involved were sidetracked. First one, the war was between two sets of ideals, the just and the unjust, righteousness and covetousness. Second, on the battlefield, there was no individual identity like father, son, grandfather, teacher, friend, etc. Everyone there represented his side and the values that they stood for, and it was his duty to fight for them. Third, Arjuna committed the error of looking at the problem from his personal point of view. He did not look at the situation in totality, but viewed it through his colored eyeglass of egoism, the sense of I-ness and minus. Fourth one, he saw himself attached to others as a student of Drona, grandson of Bhishma, and overlooked his duty at that critical juncture, which was nothing but to fight. On the contrary, although Bhishma and Drona were on the other end of that relationship which was tormenting Arjuna, they did not undergo any sentimental pangs as Arjuna did, and they were ready to fire the first shot. The more one gets attached or identified with the sense of I-ness and minus, the more he will be faced with problems and confusions in life. The moment he enlarges his vision and identifies himself with basic principles, his confusions would disappear and he would discover his real identity with the self. This is what Sri Krishna's teachings will do to Arjuna. Thus, in this chapter, Arjuna as a disciple takes refuge in Lord Shri Krishna, and Krishna begins his teachings by explaining Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, and the Atma, which is the soul. Here, Sri Krishna explains the distinction between the impermanent physical body and the eternal soul, the process of transmigration, the selfless service of the Supreme Lord, and the qualities of a self-realized person. This is one among the longest chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and we will divide this chapter into various sections and analyze in depth. First to 9th shloka, Arjuna surrenders to Lord Shri Krishna. 10th to 30th is about understanding soul through Sankhya philosophy. 31 to 38 is understanding one's duty through Sankhya philosophy. 39 to 53 deals about Buddhi Yoga. 54 to 72, Lord explains the characteristics of a saintly person or Sthita Prajna. Even though there is a variety of topics that we shall get to see in this chapter, the rest of the 16 chapters picks up these themes and elaborates on them. We are in the Bhagavad Gita section, eager to listen to the teachings of Jagat Guru, Bhagavan, Shri Krishna. There has to be a compelling reason for the Guru to teach, and that reason is usually the irresistible urge of a disciple to know, to gain supreme wisdom. Otherwise, Shri Krishna will remain the charioteer and friend of Arjuna. The first chapter creates such an urge in Arjuna, the hero of the world, who otherwise has displayed no spiritual inclination at any point in his life. Hence, the first 2 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita exemplify the inestimable creative genius of sage Vedavyasa in making the impossible a simple looking possibility. Hari Om, Jai Shri Radhe Krishna.